Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Prof and Sir. Alhamdulillah, in this morning we are still alive, we are still breathing, and I hope all of us still in a good condition and stay healthy as well. Salawat and salam we send to our Prophet Nabiullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best revolutionary in the world, who has brought us from the darkness to the brightness. Minazulumati ilan nur. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad David Hidayatulloh. My student numbers are 195, 204, and 1004. And in this video, I would like to present my research proposal. Okay, my research proposal entitled The Using of Mini Seminar in Coping the Students' Anxiety at Mandua Kota Makassar, or penggunaan mini seminar untuk mengatasi kecemasan siswa di Mandua Kota Makassar. Okay, in the chapter 1, introduction. This chapter covers the background, problem statement, objectives, and significance of the research. We can see there are three variables or 3 points, main points of this research. The first one is anxiety, the second one is coping, and the third one is mini seminar. Okay, the first one, anxiety. One of the factors that could detain the students in mastery their foreign language is anxiety disorder. So, there are many questions in our mind. The first one is like, what is anxiety? Based on Clement in 1980, he defined the foreign language anxiety as a complex construct that deals with the students' psychology in terms of their feelings, their self-esteem, and also their self-confidence. Based on this statement, we can see that if the foreign language anxiety or anxiety disorder will attack the students' feeling. For example, the students who are attacked by anxiety, they will feel unconfident, they will feel unconsiderate, and also they will get a panic attack. And based on Zhang in 2001, he stated that anxiety as the psychological tension that the learner goes through in performing a learning task. Okay, the second point is coping. What is coping? Coping, based on the Haber and Runyon in 1984, they were state that the coping is all of the action or things in negative or positive. Those could reduce burdensome conditions of the individual, so it is not causing the stress. Based on this statement, we can see that if the coping is one of the strategy that we can do to overcome or avoid our anxiety. The coping strategies divided into 2 types. The first one is problem-based coping or problem-focused coping, and the second one is emotional-focused coping or emotional-based coping. Okay, before we go to the mini seminar point, let me show you there were many researchers or many studies that discussed about the anxiety and coping. The first article written by Farhan Raja, who has written this study in 2017. This research entitled Anxiety Level in Students of Public Speaking, Causes and Remedies. In this research, he tried to analyze the reason behind the anxiety level in undergraduate students of public speaking class, and also he gave some recommendation strategies that the students can do to overcome their anxiety. At the end of this research, in the finding showed that the students who has fear in public speaking can perform well if they are use certain strategies to fight their fears. The second article by Siti Mariam, who has written her study in 2017 entitled Strategy Coping, teori dan sumber dayanya. The purpose of this research is to explore further coping strategies mentioned by the several scholars such as Lazarus and Folkman, Stewart and Sundin, and also Friedman. At the end of this research, the researcher found those are two base form of coping, namely problem-based form of coping mechanism or direct action, and the second one is emotion focus of coping or palliative form. And the third previous relative research was written by Muhammad Adam Gufron Ihsan, who was done his research in 2021 under the title Students' Anxiety in EFL Speaking Class, Problems and Solutions. This research talked about the students' anxiety problems in third year students of English education program in Universitas Negeri Makassar. There were three purposes of this research. The first one, to identify the types of anxiety that the students face in EFL speaking class. The second one, the most common types of anxiety that the students deal with. The second one is the most common types of anxiety that the students deal with. And the last one is the students' strategies to overcome their anxiety. In this research, the researcher found that the most common types of anxiety that the students deal with is state anxiety. And the second one is trait anxiety. And the last one, or the third one, is specific situation anxiety. In this research, the researcher also gave the students some strategies that they can do to overcome or avoid their anxiety. In this research, the researcher also gave the students several strategies that they can do to overcome or avoid their anxiety. For example, make a conversation in front of the mirror, make a one-on-one conversation, just try to speak whenever we have chance, and another things like having interaction with many people to encourage the confidence. Now we back to the mini seminar point. This research is focused on the use of mini seminar in coping the Mandua Kota Makassar EFL students' anxiety disorder. Now, what is mini seminar? Mini seminar is a group discussion that held in an organized way within a classroom. Mini seminar is almost same like a seminar. The difference between the mini seminar and seminar we can see from the population. If the seminar it's gonna be attended by a lot of people, let's say like 20 until 100 of the people go attend this seminar. For mini seminar, the audience or the people can attend this seminar is reduced or is smaller than the seminar. Let's say it's around 10 people until 20 or 25. It's not as lot as the seminar. According to the Tima Davan, in 2009, a mini seminar is felt necessary because it gives good experience to conduct a major seminar at institutional level. Based on the previous statement, there are several research gaps exist between previous research with this research. The first one is by the subject of the research. The study by Farhan Raja in 2017, he was focused on the undergraduate students in a reputable private sector of business school in Karachi. In other ways, this research will focus on the 11 years of Mandua Makassar EFL learners. The second one, Farhan Raja's study was took in province of Sindh, Pakistan, and this research will take in Sulawesi Selatan, Indonesia. The other research gaps is the focus of the research. If Siti Mariam in 2017, she was focused on the explores further coping strategies mentioned by several researchers such as Lazarus and Folkman, Friedman, Stewart and Sanden. This research will focus on the use of mini seminar in coping Mandua Kota Makassar EFL students' anxiety, and also will give the recommend steps to avoid and resolve their anxiety and how they can take an action to resolve their anxiety problem by using mini seminar to give them to present the material and also give them a treatment. The next research gaps exist between the previous research with this research is the method of the research. Farhan Raja was used quantitative method. Siti Mariam was used the literature review. And this research, the researcher will use the qualitative method. Okay, the research question of this research is, how does mini seminar can cope the students' anxiety? And the objective of this research is to find out the use of mini seminar to coping the students' anxiety. D. The significance of the research. The researcher really expected and do believe that this research will be useful, especially in exploring the preferred coping strategies for Mandua Makassar EFL students to resolve and avoid their anxiety. E. Scope of the research. The scopes of this research are, the first one is, this research is focused to find out the using of mini seminar in coping EFL students' anxiety. The second one is, the researcher tries to find out the preference coping strategies to resolve and avoid the EFL students' anxiety. And the third one is, the research is conducted for the 11 year EFL students of Mandua Makassar. Now we move to the second chapter, is the literature review. This chapter explains about the theory of anxiety, theory of coping strategies, theory of mini seminar, and the conceptual framework of this research. Okay, the second one is anxiety disorder. What is anxiety? According to Kirtworth and Melton in 2002, anxiety disorders are among the most common mental disorders encountered by public speakers. And by B. Woolman and G. Stricker in 1997, they state that anxiety controlling people to feel unhappy, overwhelmed, worry, despairing, and regardless of existing or non-existing risk. By this statement, we can see that if anxiety will attack the feel of the human, the people who get the anxiety will feel like nervous, will feel like uncomfortable, will feel like unconfident with their self, and also get a panic attack. And this anxiety will disturb the someone who get it to do anything that they want. In this research is speaking or learning EFL language. Okay, B. Types of anxiety disorder. There are 3 types of anxiety disorder. The first one is state anxiety. What is state anxiety? State anxiety, according to Zeitner in 1998, he explained that state anxiety exists which differentiate a personal experiences in the certain situations. Or in other words, we can say that state anxiety mentions the temporary emotional condition of person, while desire and tension depends on the current situations. The second one is trait anxiety. According to Zeitner in 1998, he stated that trait anxiety actually where the someone has or the individual has a stable condition, but when it comes to the higher pressure, it influences the anxiety experience. Or by Spielberger, cited on the Zeitner in 1983, He said that traits anxiety relates to character, which giving stable reaction in every context. And the third one is specific situational anxiety. Every single person have their situation where they feel anxious. Let's say, like the first day of college and the interview for a job or make presentation in front of the people. According to Spielberger in 1983, he stated that situation-specific anxiety is determined as each person's tendency to be anxious in a specific situation and time. Next is the sources of anxiety. There are any sources of anxiety. The first one is the personal and interpersonal anxieties. The learner's beliefs about language, teachers' beliefs in language teaching, teachers and learners' interactions, procedures of the classroom, and also the language testing. Okay, the second theory is about the coping strategies. The first one is the definition of coping strategies by Yani in 1997. She said that the coping strategies, or as known as the coping, is a visible or hidden behaviors that a person does to reduce or eliminate psychological tension in stressful conditions. In line with Haber and Runyon in 1984, they state that coping strategies is all of the forms of negative or positive behavior and thoughts that can reduce the stress conditions. So based on this statement, we can say that if the purpose of the coping strategies is to reduce or control someone's negative things or someone's conflict that occur personality or comes from the outside. In conclusion, coping is a human behavior that can help them to resolve or reduce their stressful conditions. B. The purpose of coping strategies. According to the previous explanation, the purpose of the coping strategies is to overcome the situation they are felt to be pressing, challenging, and burdening, and exceeding by person's resources. Or in another word, the purpose of coping is to reduce or manage conflicts that arise from personal and internal conflicts. Okay, now is types of coping strategies. The first one is problem-focused coping and the emotional-focused coping. The differences between the problem-focused coping and emotional-focused coping is, if the problem-focused coping, we will focus on the problem. The example of problem-focused coping is, for example, like someone who has a killer boss or killer teacher or lecturer, and he wants to make a presentation, he will focus on how to obtain a good presentation. So the killer boss or the killer teacher could doing killer to him. And the emotional focus coping actually will focus on the emotional and resolve our emotion. The example of emotional focus coping is the someone, for example, like the someone who diagnosed with the terminal illness and he cannot do anything more, and the only one he can do is praying. Yeah, praying is the emotional focus coping. Okay, the next is mini seminar. What is mini seminar? Mini seminar is group discussion that held in an organized way within a classroom. Its coverage and scope are small and simple. Like what I have explained before, mini seminar, the differences between seminar and mini seminar we can see from the population. If the seminar, it could be attended by a lot of people, let's say 10, 50 until hundreds of people. mini seminar, the population is reduced, is not a lot of as lot as the seminar. And in mini seminar, this mini seminar gives chance for the students to train their skill in questioning, organizing the information, and presentation skills of seminar. Now the advantages and special features of mini seminar. Okay, from the first year search book, Teaching of Science, there are several advantages of mini seminar. The first one is mini seminar give us good motivation and learning experience. The second one, develop the self-reliance and self-confidence. The third one, mini seminar is the best method for socialization. The fourth one, regulate the creating and organizing of facts and information. The fifth one is the develop questioning skills. The sixth one makes teaching and learning process lively. And the seventh one is the presenter or the reader of the article can get further clarifications in this subject. And the last one is the student receives good information from his teacher and the fellow students. Next is the limitation of mini seminar. There are the subject area to be taught must be relevant to the theme of the seminar. The second one is the seminar themes must conform the learning experience to be inculcated to the students. And the third one, time management is quite difficult. Next is setting up of a seminar for every topic in the text is not feasible. And the last one is passive observation without interaction also makes seminar dull and worthless. Okay, next is the conceptual framework. This research will focus on find out the use of mini seminar in coping strategies. The researcher needs to know the types of anxiety that the students experience. And the researchers also needs to identify the source of the anxiety that the students deal with. And after that, the researcher can recommend what types of coping strategies that may be suitable with the student's anxiety disorder by using mini seminar. Okay, we move to the third chapter, research method. This chapter deals with research design, place and time of the research, data sources, instrument of the research, procedure of the data collection, and technique of data analysis. Okay, for the research design, this research used the qualitative method to identify the using of mini seminar in coping the students' anxiety. Qualitative research is the collection, analysis, and interpretation of comprehensive narrative and visual or non-numerical data in order to gain insight into a particular phenomenon of interest. In this research, the researcher will analyze, will interpret the comprehensive narrative and visual data in order to gain insight into a particular phenomenon of the researcher interest. In this research, the point is the using of mini seminar in coping the students' anxiety. The next is place and time of the research. This research will carry out in Mandua, Makassar in South Sulawesi. This school is one of the best senior high school in Makassar and also one of the best Islamic State senior high school in Makassar. Furthermore, this research will take time around October until November in 2022 to be completed. Okay, the next is the data sources, and this research has two data sources. The first one is the primary data and the secondary data. The primary data is by 10 chosen EFL learners in 11 year of Mandua, Kota, Makassar, and the secondary data is the articles, the journals, the theses, books, and previous related findings or studies that similar and relate with this research. Next is the instrument of the research. The data will be collected by the implementation of open-ended questionnaire and in-depth interview to collecting the data. Okay, now is the procedure of data collection. We can see there are 4 procedures that the researcher will do to complete this research. The first one is collect the data, the questionnaire and interviews of the 10 chosen EFL learners. The second one is prepare and organize the data. Is the questionnaire will be identified and the interviews will be transcribed. The third one is the researcher looking for the solution or recommend coping strategies. The researcher will conduct a mini seminar to present his solution or his recommend coping strategies and give treatment to the students as well. And the last one is review and explore the data. The data of using mini seminar in coping students' anxiety will be analyzed according to the technique of data analysis. Okay, the last one is the technique of data analysis. For the questionnaire, the result from the open-ended questionnaire will be analyzed through qualitative thematic analysis. And for the interview, the result will be analyzed by using the theory from Miles, Haberman, and Saldana in 2014. There are data reduction, data display, and conclusion or verification. Okay, I think that's all for my research proposal presentation. I do really sorry for my mistakes and my weaknesses, and thank you very much to Mr. Samtidar and Mr. Lasunra as my advisors, and thank you very much to Professor Sarifuddin Dollah and Mr. Heril Anwar Korompot as my examiners. I hope we are all stay in a good condition, stay healthy and stay safe and stay happy. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.